If your company has unlimited PTO and your best employees are still burning out, then this video is for you. I'm going to show how we realize that our PTO policy was actually hurting some of our best people at some of the most important roles in our company, and how it changed the way I think about PTO and about agreements in general. Because good employees don't need permission to work, they need permission to stop. If you don't know who I am, my name is Luke Murray. I'm a former physician and been an entrepreneur for about 20 years. I've done over $100 million in revenue during that time. I currently have a portfolio of companies that does about $3 million a year, and I make these videos because I would like to have ambition without the bullshit, and I'm guessing you would too. So this topic of PTO came up in a conversation with one of my CEOs. We were talking about our VP of sales at that company, Mike. And I want to give a little bit of background about who Mike is, because I think it explains why this policy affected him the way that it did. So Mike became a Marine right out of high school because he wanted to serve his country. Then he became a missionary in Africa and a church planter in Ohio because he wanted to serve his God. And then he joined one of my companies because we've been best friends since 4th grade, and he wanted to help his friend. So in case the pattern isn't obvious, this guy is very mission-driven, and one of his highest values is loyalty. On top of that, he's an absolute savage. He's built our sales team at this company from zero to, as far as I know, doing something that no other company in our industry in Kentucky has done. He feels personally responsible for turning the company around, and therefore he puts forth an effort like he owns 80% of the company, but with zero of the entitlement, which is like the best possible combination. So that's Mike, both as a person and an employee. Well, Mike went down to Daytona Beach a few months ago with his family on vacation, and he had 4 days off, which I think was the longest he'd been off in like a year and a half. It was also the only real vacation he had planned where he went more than 3 hours away from Lexington. And you know what he did? He came back early. Not because anybody made him, not because the policy required it. He just came back because there was, I don't know, some kind of event or customer order that he felt personally responsible for getting across the goal line. And of course, part of me loves that. Part of you, if you are an entrepreneur, probably loves that too, if you had an employee that was that committed. I mean, what owner doesn't want someone who works too hard and cares too much? I mean, like, that's like the classic joke about what you say when you're in an interview and the employer's like, what's your biggest weakness? And I'm like, I care too much. I work too hard. Because everybody knows, both the employee and the employer, that that's not a liability, that's an asset. But another part of me looks at this situation, like that extra day of output, I don't know if it was worth what it reinforced in him, because the policy said, take what you need, but Mike's loyalty translated into take what you need unless maybe the company might need you more. That's a trap. Unlimited PTO can accidentally put your most loyal employees in conflict with the company. They have to choose between being present at home as a dad and a husband, or being the kind of person who shows up for the company. And if someone like Mike has to choose, and the company is making him do the choosing, he's going to show up. And he might even get bitter or resentful because he thinks that's expected of him, despite what the policy says, because that's what he expects of himself. So a clearer, limited but specific policy can use the same loyalty in a healthier direction. So instead of saying, you decide whenever you've earned the rest, the company can say, this is what we expect you to take, and this is the timeline we expect you to take it in. Now, rest isn't a rebellion against the company, it's cooperation with the company. And that frame matters for conscientious people because they already work hard since that's what the company asks of them. So if you want them to rest, you may need to make rest something the company also asks of them. Even the military understands this. You don't say to a Marine, take leave whenever the war feels chill enough. The war never is going to feel chill enough. And loyal people like Mike don't want to abandon their men or the mission because I'm feeling a little burnt out. The military has leave built into the system because readiness matters. The break is not betrayal of the mission. The break is part of sustaining that mission. And the difference between war and business is that at least the war will at some point end. Business problems never do. So I'm not saying unlimited PTO is always bad. I'm not pretending actually that I even know the perfect policy for each person or each company at every stage. I'm saying, look at the behavior of the people you most want to keep. If those people are not taking vacation and you can see their performance or their morale slipping, the policy may be punishing them through the exact trait that makes them so valuable. Sometimes a clear number is more generous than an unlimited vibe. The real goal is to make the rest feel aligned with the same mission and loyalty and responsibility to make your best people work so hard in the first place. What do you think? Have you ever seen unlimited PTO turn into a trap for your best people? Or have you been the person who technically had freedom but still felt guilty using it? Let me know in the comments below. And thanks for watching.